Hey, what's going on? Good evening, everybody. I'm kicking back at the bar. This is Buddy's on Sukhumvit Soy 22. And this guy has a pretty good stereo system on his, I think that's durian he's selling. Here comes, what are those? In Spanish, I'd call them chicharrones, pork skin. And this guy's trying to make an impossible turn up this little side soy to the right, but everybody's pretty polite. This is a good people watching spot. All the different folks either heading to their hotels, big smiles on their face, or a frown on their face as they're heading off to the airport. I also see a lot of the ladies that work in the area. They've got their bags and heading up to different parts of Thailand, no doubt. Working hard down in the big city, and hopefully get to go up and visit the family at least once a month. And I've been doing the best I can with my diet and exercise, and I'll admit it's not that great. I'm breaking all the rules tonight. I'm sitting here having a Coke and just ordered a chili dog, but sometimes you have to treat yourself, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I had grilled chicken and salad my last 3 meals. Today it's a Buddy's chili dog. There's a lot of familiar faces. Well, there's only 3 people sitting at the bar, but it's definitely a local vibe. I happen to know one of the guys. He's a cook at one of the hotels down on the river. I guess he's a chef. Kind of a important job. I know he's working for the Marriott Corporation, so that's a good salary here in Bangkok. But good people. This is a good place to come have a beer. 95 baht, I believe. Oh, thank you. There's my chili dog. That's looking good. Some jalapenos, onions, and a little Buddy's coleslaw. Their chili con carne here is delicious. Again, I get it. I know it's not the greatest for me, but hey, you only go around once, and I'm going to enjoy it. It's the dog is pretty snappy. I asked either the owner or the manager. I mixed the 2 guys up. I think they're both Swedish, and he told me he gets them from a guy in Pattaya. He's kind of in the hot dog and sausage field. And getting back to the old discussion of trying to just eat street food in Thailand and live on 1,500 baht or dollars a month. Yeah, I mean, give it a try. But this meal is 225 baht for the chili dog, and I'm just drinking a soda, diet soda right now. And this is the low season on a Wednesday. It's supposed to be super quiet, but probably 100 folks have walked by me in the past half hour. Half of them Indian tourists. They love this area. Lots of Indian restaurants, and some of the folks with a ton of cash hang out at that Marriott Marquis. Beautiful hotel, just 10 minutes up to the right. I'm also seeing a lot of Korean tourists walking by. It's good to see. Across the way, Holiday Inn has the new beer garden. Well, newish. A little less than a year. It's a pretty popular place to also sit and watch all the craziness walk by. And that's kind of cool to see. A whole family, thank you, of I think they're Australian. I heard them talking, just walked into the massage place next door. Maybe a 15-year-old and mom and dad. And one of the guys that just left the bar had called up either a Grab or Bolt motorbike, and he asked for the spare helmet. I'll say, I always ask for the helmet. 99% of the time, they're gonna have a spare. So just go ahead and put that on. Better safe than sorry. I know there's a lot of talk, mostly coming out of Pattaya, although I've seen checkpoints here. I've seen them up in On Nut, and I saw them down recently at Chitlom about folks being fined for not wearing a helmet. But we'll just see what goes by. Okay, no helmet passenger. These 2 have helmets. Usually it's the passenger that is not wearing a helmet. Passenger. The taxi drivers themselves, they normally do, but not always. Comes a couple more. Looks like the passenger, no helmet. And like I say, they normally have a spare. And I'm sure no expert on the subject. I don't always wear a helmet. In fact, we went by a police checkpoint. I wasn't wearing a helmet. He didn't pull us over. Oftentimes, I think they're looking to check for licenses. And I just had a couple walk by, and he was having his little kid holding him by the hand, and he said, "Son, this is an interesting area." And that's kind of putting it mildly. Some of the bars up at the top of Sukhumvit are little girly bars. It's a little crazy. Now, they're going to be respectful to kids, or even if you're walking with your girlfriend or wife, but yeah, it can be a little wild. Now, forgetting the helmet argument, what you do see a lot over here, and it kind of reminds me of my childhood, is just people packed in the back of a pickup truck. Now, sometimes they overdo it, and there might be 15 people in the back of that truck. I just had one zip by with all the kids, 4 of them, and maybe an aunt sitting in the back. Seems like they're having the time of their life, just like we did in the 70s. These days, I'm sure they would pull that truck over and arrest the parents for child endangerment. Yet we all seem to make it through the 70s without flying out the back of the truck. And I've watched a couple of tuk-tuks come by, the Move Me electric tuk-tuks, MUVMI. Check out the app. You have to load money on it. I think I used my US credit card, and then there are pickup and drop-off points. But here in a busy area like Sukhumvit Soi 22, I'm sure you could be picked up in several locations. And I happen to know one of the drop-off points is the hotel right next to my condo. Now, they charge you per person, but Bourne, my girlfriend, and I used it a couple of days ago, and it was, I want to say, 41 baht a person to travel. It was quite a ways, about 4 miles. You do have to stay in your area. So from where I'm at here on Sukhumvit 22, I don't have it memorized. I think you can only go as far as Nana Plaza. But we'll take a tuk-tuk any chance we can get compared to just sitting in a boring cab. And the watch guy just came by. They kind of have a hard job. They usually work in a team. They'll zip up on a motorbike and they'll kind of jump into the bar if he's allowed, or at least catch guys like me on the edge of the bar. Never really seen those guys sell a watch, but somebody must be buying them. They're out here night after night. And I've never had a drink there at the beer garden right on the street level at the Holiday Inn, but sounds like they have some live music over there tonight. The unmistakable signs of Hotel California. I've had the question a few times, the difference between the green and pink cabs. I don't think there is a difference. I know in many cities, which one comes to mind in Saigon, I think the different colored cabs go to different areas. Here, just a different company. This is my guess anyhow. I've been in both of them, and their meters, if they choose to turn the meter on, they both start at 37 baht. So yeah, I've also ridden or been picked up from the airport in both green. Also, they're blue. Blue's a little more rare. It's usually that pink or this green and yellow. There goes a solid yellow. So yeah, I think they're just different companies. Also, when you call a Grab or Bolt car on the app, it's very likely a taxi is going to pull up. Yeah, I just like sitting here and watching all the traffic go by. There's a fun bar down on the right. The Hangover. The owner's from Rotterdam, has Heineken on tap and some pretty tasty food. Here comes these homemade camper shells. You'll see them all over Thailand. And it kind of goes without saying, be extra careful running across these streets. I just saw somebody have to have a bike lock up their brakes because he was, stands to reason, you're looking in the direction of traffic, you step out and a bike was just flying the wrong way, and yeah, it's gonna happen over here. So if you don't want to get hit by a bike, you better do a 360 view. And in many parts of the city, including up near that beer garden at the top of the Holiday Inn, you're going to have motorbikes using the sidewalk to zip back to their taxi stand, going the wrong way. So just be careful if you're wearing those headphones. And those two guys that were hanging out at the bar just took off, so this is just a little peek. Now this is the non-air conditioned buddies, the one at the top of 28 and 89. I think Siloam too, I was only there years ago. They're air conditioned, but this one is out in the open. Still my favorite. They have a nice dartboard back there. My buddy's in one of the leagues that comes and competes against buddies. Like I say, decent prices. No happy hour, but it's pretty much the same low price all the time. 95 baht for a San Miguel. I think it went up from 90. It's oftentimes 150 around town. And like many bars across Thailand, they're going to have a bell. There's a little sign there that says, don't play with the bell. You ring that bell, and I'm not sure what the bar rules here. Oftentimes you are buying everybody in the bar another round of whatever they're drinking, and sometimes that includes the staff. Other bars, it will only be for the staff, and if there are 10 bar girls, that could add up fast. So yeah, don't play fireman on the bell. There goes the propane guy. Most of these restaurants, small, large, they're gonna operate on propane. I don't believe the city's piped for natural gas. I'm no expert on that, but I think it was at the mall, and there was a large outdoor area, and there must have been 50 propane bottles in there. They were swapping out. And we'll see if a bike comes down with the guys with the orange vest. Don't flag those guys down in the middle of the road. They're not going to stop. I'm trying to see. You really need to use the Grabber Bolt app to call for a bike. The guys with the orange vest, they just are at the top of the soy, the middle of the soy, etc. And it's just a flat rate fee, but they just stay, for instance, on this Sukhumvit soy 22. They're not interested in you flagging them down and wanting to go to Terminal 21. And that's the old school tuk-tuk. 100 baht will get you many places. There goes the IKEA delivery truck. It's pretty darn affordable, but I think they wanted 3 days to deliver a rug I purchased. So I use, I don't know if it's Lala Move, LALA Move. You can call them up. You can also call Grabber Bolt and request a truck or a van, and just put a note in there. Hey, I'm moving a large lazy boy chair. It's not a problem. This is a really international street. You'll hear 100 languages if you sit here long enough. Yeah, come on down and check out Buddy's. This location on 22. There goes the guy in the orange vest. See, he's deadheading back to his taxi stand. He raced somebody down to a hotel, and he doesn't even pick up another fare down there. There's a whole other taxi stand. So yeah, he stays on his street and just goes in one direction. But they have a all-you-can-eat buffet the last Friday of the month here. I think it's 380 baht, but it's delicious, like Australian roast, lynx, chili, really good. More people watching here on the patio at Buddy's. Plenty of folks trying to sell you things. That's fine. Every now and then the blind folks will come around, usually with their caretaker, and they're singing a little song, and yeah, drop a 20 baht note in their little bin. They're working very hard, and they have a difficult life as it is. I mean, you could certainly drop a 100 baht note in there, but if you're here 5 times a week, that's going to get a little expensive. And many folks give them nothing, so every little bit is helpful. I'm not even drinking tonight, but just hanging out on one of these patios. Even the patios at Soy Cowboy, you're just going to see some interesting things. It's not all about drinking. It's just kind of getting out and feeling the energy of the city at 10 o'clock at night, midnight. And I'm not a huge breakfast guy. If I am out or awake for breakfast, I'm usually down at O'Shea's. They have that pick 6 or 7 items out of 15 for 200 baht. It's a good deal, but I've been told more than once they have an excellent breakfast here or at all the Buddy's locations. And that's pretty much a Bangkok limousine. These tricked out minivans. And a lady just walked by. She has a pretty difficult job. She had 10 dresses in each hand, just kind of walking around all the girly bars trying to sell their products. There goes a nice BMW. You'll see some beautiful cars in town, oftentimes with the flagpoles. If they're covered up, then the ambassador or whoever the dignitary is not on board, but you'll oftentimes see the flags flying. And I do my best to respond to any comment I get at YouTube, but I'm oftentimes asked, hey, I like your video on whatever, soy 31, will you do one on soy 33? Well, I did several on soy 33. You can check the Sukhumvit playlist and just type in whatever you want, soy 1, soy 101, and at least one, if not 2 or 3 videos will pop up. And if you're not familiar, at the top of every channel you're on, not the full YouTube search, but each channel has a search bar. There goes the fruit lady. And just as I said that, one of the ladies that works on the bar, she just came walking in with, it looked like somtam. So as much as I like eating a chili dog once in a while, Thai folks, they love eating somtam almost every day. I think my girlfriend Boone eats somtam more than I used to have rolled tacos or breakfast burritos in California. And this is just a normal little beer drinking bar. Many of the, well, they're called beer bars, just off to the left here, Country Road, and I don't know what they're named. At the top of Soy 22, they might have 6 or 7 ladies working in each bar, and if you're walking in just a single guy, sure, somebody's going to come up and ask you to buy them a beer. That's what they're in the business of doing. I mean, you can politely decline, but even if you're not looking for, oh, this is a little pop-up bar. Huh, cool. Even if you're not looking for company, just be polite, buy somebody a drink. They are expected to sell drinks, so they're putting a little bit of pressure on just to get a customer in the door. And somebody who's in the door and wanting to talk to all the ladies and not buy drinks, that's not really what the setup is. So yeah, if you want to just have a beer and be left alone, there are plenty of places like this Buddy's to hang out and do just that. If you're going to head into a more girly bar and then kind of complain that you're being harassed, I mean, that's a little bit on you. That's not a public library. They're in there trying to sell drinks and share their company, and that's what it's about. With that said, not so much in Soy Cowboy. You can go in and hang out in the clubs and not really buy anybody a drink. If you ask somebody to come down off the stage and come sit with you, you are absolutely expected to buy a drink and to buy 2 or 3 drinks if you want her to hang out for, say, a half hour. Different bars will have different rules, and that's not really my scene. I used to hang out in those places, but you'll see guys online complaining, and kind of rightfully so, if they buy somebody a drink and it's just a watered down shot, if there's any alcohol in it at all. Again, I've mentioned this many times. She's not looking to get plastered, so it might just be fruit juice. But if she powers it down and is out of there in 2 minutes, well, that's not really called for. Myself these days, if I'm in one of those bars, I'll oftentimes buy the server a drink. I know if I was a server at a bar in Soy Cowboy, I'd probably appreciate having a couple of drinks on my shift. And if nothing else, I'm sure they appreciate that, whatever it is, percentage of that lady's drink. Let's say it's 350 baht. Maybe they get 100 baht of it. I don't know what the breakdown is, but it's all money. And I'm listening to a pretty unique version of Sweet Home Alabama. We're going on 11 o'clock, 5 till. Comes the ice cream man. Now, somebody had just asked me in the comments about transferring money, in his case from Australia to Bangkok, the 800,000 for his presumably nano for retirement. I think he said the Wise fee was about 600 Australian, and he asked me if there was a cheaper option. Again, I'm no expert on this, but unfortunately not. In my case, there are other outfits like Wise. I think it's Revolt or Remtree, something like that. I've used Wise. Most people use Wise. They just give you a good exchange rate. You can oftentimes do better. In my case, Navy Federal will do it for a flat rate fee of $25, but the exchange rate is just not good. So you just have to do the math. Sure, a $25 flat rate fee is better than paying 600 Australian. If you could even get that in Australia, I'm not sure. But if you're only getting a 0.75 worse rate, well, that's going to add up fast on 800,000 baht. Plus, many banks will, here in Thailand, will put a little hidden fee on some of the transactions that are coming into the bank. So that's going to cost you money. 99% of the time, 100% in my case, whatever Wise says is going to hit your bank, that exact amount hits the bank. Now, it might take 5-6 days if it's 10,000 US dollars. 1,000 US dollars will probably hit my account instantly, but I usually move a large amount when the baht is at a rate that's favorable to the US dollar. And with that being said, you can't time the market. You can sit there for years hoping the baht goes to whatever imaginary number you have in mind, in which case, at some point you just got to pull the trigger and get it done. Get on over here. If it costs you an extra 500 bucks, that's just the price of doing business. I've seen that in the comments. I'm waiting for the baht to be at XYZ number before I pull the trigger, and I don't know, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, once you live here, what are you going to do? You're going to move when the baht becomes stronger than your home currency? Yeah, we all want to get the best rate for our home currency. I was lucky and transferred a whole bunch of money at around 37 to 1. And another large amount at 36 to 1. Now that it's floating around in the 32s, yeah, that's not as good, but no reason to leave. But I get it, some barstool math. If the baht is around 36 to 1, now this is US, that's a little over 22,000 US. If it's at 32 to 1, that's 25,000 US to hit that magic number of 800,000 baht. Again, you can do all the planning you'd like, but you can't control the price of airline tickets. Let's say you have that time you're going to retire, and for whatever reason airline tickets are an extra $500, $600, $700. To me, that's just not a deciding factor on when I'm going to retire and make the move. And there's also a lot of discussion on even keeping that 800,000 in the bank. Many people will say, well, I'm going to do the 65,000 baht income method. You're at the mercy of whatever the baht is. You have to make that transfer every month. They don't care if the baht is 40 to 1 or 25 to 1. It has to be done. January, February, there's no getting around it. So yeah, you're losing out on the interest on that 24,000 US. However, you're at the mercy of the exchange rate. Here's a little courtyard or patio, the Holiday Inn Beer Garden. They do have a pretty nice rain guard. You can pull that shut when it starts pouring. And as you kind of wander around Bangkok long enough, you find all the toilets right in here at the lobby of the Holiday Inn. There's one right on the left. And nobody seems to care in Thailand. There's no key with a hubcap. If you have to go, you have to go. Here it is right here. Now, of course, I could have used the one at Buddy's, but I didn't have to go till I walked away. And there is zero problem, or a very, very small chance of a problem, walking home anywhere really in Bangkok, but especially down in this Sukhumvit area. It's just very, very safe. I know there's isolated purse snatchings and these type of things, but for the most part, compared to many cities in the world, it's just very, very safe. If you're gonna have any problems up in between Nana and Asok, you'll find a bunch of pickpockets and kind of flim-flam guys. Even then, just avoid anybody striking up a conversation, especially about where the money exchange is, or can I see what Thai money looks like, that type of thing. There's a lot of sleight of hand guys, and make sure that phone and wallet are in your front pockets. There are just professional pickpockets up in that area, but even that is kind of rare. I made the mistake the other night. I usually have those little cheapy 7-Eleven ponchos around in my backpack. I didn't have one. It was pouring rain. I had to meet the guys over here at O'Shea's. So I called a grab car, and it took 35 minutes to go 1 mile from my condo over here to Sukhumvit 33, and I couldn't jump out. We were on the inside lane, and this is very dangerous what this guy is doing, but we had to come up here to make the U-turn, and we sat right here in front of the M-Sphere for I don't know how long, 20 minutes. You see how he was just looking in the direction of traffic? That would stand to reason, but bikes will come out of nowhere going the wrong way along the curb. Mix in a little alcohol, and that's just a recipe for disaster. All that guy had to do was just walk right over there where you see the tail lights and there's a crosswalk. So I don't care. It's not worth playing this game of chicken here on Sukhumvit. It's just too dangerous. They do a really nice job from here in front of the M-Sphere down to Benjasiri Park of decorating the trees. If you're into your nightclubs, I forget what it's called. Oh, it's the M Wonder World Class Entertainment District. It's above the IKEA on the 4th or 5th floor. There's a bunch of nightclubs up there. There's even an F1 themed bar. It's not a major complaint, but if I could change anything about Bangkok, I would get rid of this system in front of bars, restaurants. Just putting the bags like this on the curb, and the hard-working old school garbage truck will come up, and then they rip it open and start pulling out the cans and all. The problem is this system, compared to the big dumpsters that just automatically get thrown in the truck, it attracts more rodents, and you'll see some large rodents running around Bangkok. You'll see them in any large city anywhere in the world, but here, and maybe it's just me, putting those piles of wet garbage sitting on the curb 4 hours at a time, it doesn't really help the situation. And the park's closed. It opens at 04:30 until 10 p.m. every day. Benjikiti Park, the larger park up by Terminal 21, it's the same hours. No dogs here at Benjasiri and Prompong. Benjikiti has a dog park. I get it. I was going to say I wish these parks were open until midnight, but I was in Benjikiti the other night at right up until closing, until maybe 9:45, and it was a bit of a ghost town, except for the whatever they were, tennis and pickleball courts. All those people were piling into their cars and bikes. But if I'm gonna be selfish, yeah, I wish this park stayed open until midnight. I'm usually out here walking around at 11, 12, 1 in the morning. This is the time of the day to do these walks if you want to stay somewhat cool. And across from the park, the Robin Hood Tavern. Just closely next to that is O'Shea's, my go-to spot. And just another 2 minutes up the road is their sister property, Royal Oak. They're all open until midnight. I think they operate more on a restaurant license than a bar. They switched sometimes last year till 1 a.m. on the weekends. And this is my train station, BTS Prompong on the Sukhumvit light green line. Pretty much the center of expat central here in Bangkok. Down the way, Sok, and then this Prompong going up the way, Thong La. Thong La is probably one of the most expensive areas in all of Thailand. Then the next station is, what is it, Ekamai? Oh, I just felt some raindrops. Yeah, Ekamai, then Prachignong. Then past that, Prachignong, you'll find the W District. Really fun. The O'Shea's has a sister property there, PG O'Brien's, really fun Irish pub. Then the next stop is On Nut. So anything between On Nut and, call it Nana, even up towards Plonchit, Chitlom, although that area gets super expensive with all the embassies there on Wireless Road. 50, 100, 200,000 baht a month is not uncommon for a big, large apartment in the Chitlom area. It's just where all the diplomats are living on expense accounts, and money is no object. So thank you so much for hanging out with me on this Wednesday night. I'm gonna go ahead and put my phone down and make a run for home, or try to get a motorbike at the top of my soy. They kind of disappear on the weekdays around now, so we'll see. But once you start getting these little raindrops, it could turn into a pretty gnarly storm fast, and I see some ugly clouds up there. So I'm gonna make a run for it. I will be back with more videos soon. So take it easy and we'll see ya.